Alright fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about Watch Dogs 2. And we had the trailers come out, I want to say, I think yesterday or maybe the day before. Showing what the game was going to be like, showing some of the stuff that was in the game. And I figured I'd give my 2 cents on it, like the rest of YouTube. Mainly because I think I'm coming from a different perspective than a lot of people on YouTube. Unlike most people, I fell in love with Watch Dogs when I first seen the first trailer, you know. And even when the game came out, I played the hell out of it. Did a whole Let's Play on my channel, played it, beat it. Even had little clips of it in my intro for like the longest time. But I was somebody who enjoyed the game. Did I think the game was perfect? Hell no. It had its flaws. But unlike the rest of the internet, who hated the main character, hated the story of the game, didn't like a lot of the things that made up Watch Dogs 1, I was a fan of. Like, I liked the main character. I liked the fact that the story was kind of like a revenge story. You were going after the guy who, you know, put out the hit on your family, you know? And I like that. It was a different take. It reminded me of like a thriller novel, and maybe that's why I like it so much, is because that's one of my favorite genres of books. And I really did like how they kind of sort of explained why what was the guy's name? Aiden Pierce. Why Aiden Pierce was such a badass when it came to fighting is because I want to say like his dad or his uncle trained him and that kind of sort of stuff. You had a lot of audio logs and stuff that go into that backstory. And I like that. I like that a lot because that's the kind of, I would assume that's the kind of person I am. But I also like it because it's kind of like you were playing like an anti-hero. Like, yeah, he was being a bad guy, going around fucking people up and all that kind of sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, when it came to his family, he was trying to be good. It reminded me of like a superhero story. It really did. And where he would go off do his thing, but when he was home with his family, like I remember, he wasn't trying to let his sister find out a lot of the shady shit that he does, or he wasn't trying to get his family involved in that until what happened with his family. So I think that was pretty cool. What I didn't like about the game was, I guess the game got kind of repetitive. The story wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I thought it was like, for me, it's like I wanted it to hit like 3 steps and at the end have it be like the shit. But instead of hitting like that 3rd step, it kind of fell flat. Like halfway in the storyline, for those of you, you know, because I'm assuming a lot of people didn't finish the story because they probably got bored with it. But I want to say about halfway through the game, or maybe 3/4 of the way through the game, you rescue your nephew and then you send them away from the city so that they're safe. And then to me, after that, from that point on until the end of the game, the story to me felt stagnant. Like almost as if like somebody was writing a book, they written half of it, and they didn't know where to take their story. And that's where I think the story fell through at. It got kind of bland at that point. Because, and to me, it got bland and it got hypocritical. In the aspects of Aiden Pierce was mad at the people who did that to his family and had his niece get killed. But at the same time, you were the guy who triggered that other person to be mad at you, and you know it. You know, it's kind of like, it's like me punching somebody in the face, and then when he goes to punch me back, I'm mad at him because he's punching me. It's like, hold on, you caused that. It's not like you was off doing your own thing and suddenly this unknown threat comes in and kills your family, you know, a la Bruce Wayne, and then you're pissed. You know, that's not how the story went down. So to me, it felt kind of hypocritical. But to me, I looked at Watch Dogs 1 as if it was like, okay, this is the first game in the franchise. It is what it is. Ubisoft is known for their open world games, and I can't think of not one game that they've ever came out with like Assassin's Creed, I can't say the older Far Cry games, but the newer Far Cry games since Far Cry 3, to me, they all have the same basic formula. They do something, they do it well, it's okay at first, but then as the sequel and the third game comes, it's like they refine their formula and get better at doing it. And to me, Watch Dogs felt the same way. I felt the same way about Watch Dogs that I did about Assassin's Creed 1. It was open world, it was bland, it was new, it gave you some game mechanics, but at the end of the day, you're doing those same game mechanics the whole game, and it's kind of a chore to play through. The story was decent. However, I think Assassin's Creed has the better story, but for the first one, if you take that just that first game by itself, people said the same thing about Assassin's Creed that they said about Watch Dogs 1. Same exact thing. Oh, the main character is boring. Oh, the game, the story is okay at first, but then it's boring after a while. All I'm doing is collecting flags all day. It has the same problems. It's almost like a formulaic game. So when I was playing Watch Dogs, I was like, okay, I understand this going into it. So I'm not looking for like the greatest game experience ever. And I'm not one of those people who don't understand how companies like to market their game with the best graphics, because I know a lot of people got extremely butthurt when they downgraded the graphics. And I was like, well, they're making a console game. It's like they're putting the game on all platforms. You have to dumb it down. I mean, it is what it is. Consoles fucking suck when you compare them to PC hardware. That's just the way it is. Maybe a lot of console gamers don't understand that, and they think they're getting like the best ever when in actuality they're getting shit. But I'm not one of those people. So I went into the game liking it. I liked a lot of things. I liked all the different outfits. The only thing that I kind of didn't like about Watch Dogs 1, and they seem to change that with part 2, is I kind of like it and I hate it. Because I like the fact that Aiden Pierce was the main character of part 1, and I hate it when a franchise changes the main character, because then I get attached to that person, and then the next game comes out and it's like I can't be that person. Prime example I can think of, Prototype, another open world game. I know it's not made by the same people, but I loved Alex Mercer as a character. Prototype 2 came out, here's this random black guy. It's like, same fucking thing. Assassin's Creed, I really liked Altair. Part 2 came around, oh, here's Ezio. And it's like, I like Ezio too for different reasons, but I hate the fact that, and I have a feeling they're going to do it with this game, I hate when a game developer sees that, okay, look, we know a huge chunk of our audience doesn't like a specific character type, but instead of trying to give their character a little bit more personality, they completely make a whole nother character and make them like the quippy, jokey, ladies man, kind of sort of everyman kind of feel. And to me, it's like, I can understand why people like that. I really can, because you're heavily charismatic. That's the whole point. But to me personally, it's never been my cup of tea. I'm not that kind of person in real life. And in fact, to me, everybody who I've met in my real life who have that personality, they're like the scheming type of people that always want to get over on somebody. So I don't see that as being appealing. I don't want to be that person. It's like an immediate turn off to me. And that's maybe why I like Watch Dogs 1 so much. But in video games, it's like I hate the fact that that's the mainstay. I really do. I can think of so many games that have a character that's suave, debonair. I sleep with all the ladies. I'm quick with the jokes. I can think of so many characters that's like that. Ezio, Nathan Drake from Uncharted. Who else? Hell, I can say the pirate guy from Assassin's Creed. I forget what his name is, but he was similar in that regard, but not as much. But it's like that's become the popular archetype for a main male protagonist, though, in a story. And I just hate how they just jump on that and just make that the way it is. But anyway, now that I've rambled on for about 9 minutes and 37 seconds now, we're talking about Watch Dogs 2, not Watch Dogs 1. And from what I'm seeing, I'm not terribly impressed, to be honest. The gameplay, I know they haven't really showed a lot of it. It looks okay. It looks more of the same. I'm really hoping that they fix the driving mechanics, because they were kind of stiff as hell when it came to the first game. So I'm hoping that they stick around on that. I'm not feeling the whole, oh, you're a member of DedSec kind of sort of thing. Because I'm like, that just doesn't fly with me. I didn't really like DedSec in the first game. Even though you never were really like a part of them, really. But, and maybe this just appeals to my own personality. But I've always been the kind of person to do my own thing. I don't like being a part of a group. That's just the way it is. And so I hate the fact that they kind of force you into the role. So far, that's what it seems like. It seems like you're a guy who's a part of this group, and that's just the story that they're going with. I wish they'd have left it a little bit more open, and let's say, like, if you choose to join DedSec, you can, if you want. But your story's going to still be your own thing. Or have, let's say, like, multiple factions you could be a part of. Kind of like, do it like an Elder Scrolls game. Have like 3 different factions in the game, and every playthrough you choose at least one of them, to be a part of. Do something like that. I'd rather have seen them doing like that. That would have offered more freedom. But they're trying to appeal to the whole hacker thing, which to me feels kind of weird because hackers are most normally by themselves anyway, unless this is like a new generation of hacker where it's cool and hip to be a hacker. Maybe that's what they're going for. That's what it seems like in the trailers. Maybe I'm just out of touch when knowing what hacking is, because I'm going by like the 90s and the early thousands perspective, and maybe they're going by some new age shit that I have no idea of. So, but it looks okay. I'm not terribly impressed. Like I said, it looks okay. The idea of, oh, look, you can 3D print your own gun and use it. I'm like, can you really 3D print a gun though? Seriously? Like, I can understand I can understand the concepts behind 3D printing and all of that shit, but I'm pretty sure you can't 3D print an actual metal gun and go shoot people with it. Just saying. Since when did 3D printers become the Omni tools of, like in Mass Effect, where it can pretty much make anything you put in there? There's no raw materials to work with. I can't 3D print some bullets. I can maybe print the shells or the magazine, but guess what? It don't come with fucking gunpowder, so they're not gonna shoot. I can understand if this was like, okay, I'm printing, let's say, plastic guns, and they're somehow shooting plastic projectiles or something like that. Bullshit or reason in there. You know what I'm saying? But and maybe that's what it is. Maybe, I don't know, because the guns they did look kind of overly colorful, so maybe that's what they're going for in the game. I don't know, but I know you had a gun shooting people, and I know you can't 3D print actual guns. But anyway, they said that the melee weapon looks pretty cool. It looks like a billiard ball on like one of those climbing ropes. Looks pretty cool. The way he was spinning it all around and beating somebody's ass with it. I like the fact that they dived into improvised weaponry. Really do like that. It kind of reminds me of, I was reading a thriller novel. I think it was one of the John Rain novels, where he did the same thing with like a long tube sock and a pack of D batteries. Messed some guy's face all up in one of the books. But improvised weapons like that, I've always been a fan of. Learning how to make your own weaponry, I've always been a fan of, so I like that. What I don't like about it, however, is I'm not a fan of the style. I'm not a fan of the whole DedSec style flavor of the month thing they got going on with the whole hipster white skateboarding guy look. Maybe that, that I already know that's just me. I didn't grow up dressing like that, so it's like that's a complete turn off to me. I'm hoping they better have some better clothes in that shit. I want to be able to go like Saints Row 2 with my character, where I can make him look however I want. But if they make it like the first game, you're going to be stuck wearing different colored variations of that main outfit. And that's one of the things I didn't like about part 1 is everything was all about that trench coat look that he had going on, and it was cool, but like, don't get me wrong, it's like there's only so many colors you can make the same trench coat. But I'm hoping they change that with part 2. So far I need to see some more gameplay, because what they showed is like either scripted events or running and jumping. They haven't really showed like how the game was going to be. And to me, if they can take this second game and kind of make it what Watch Dogs 1 was supposed to be, I'll be all for it. May not get down with the main character as much, may not fuck with him, but I still remember that cutscene, what was it, a cutscene or a trailer for part 1 where he went into the club, snuck his way in there, chased the guy down in the street and shot him in the face. That's what I'm gonna miss. Is because I have a feeling that this second game isn't gonna be as serious or visceral as the first game wanted to be. The first game didn't hit there. Don't get me wrong. It was like a couple steps below it. But I was kind of hoping that they was gonna hit that visceralness of it, because you truly felt like I truly felt like at certain scenes in that game, like I was like, I feel like I'm the Punisher right now. I'm just stopping crimes and killing bad guys. Like, I wasn't one of those people who like, oh, let me, make it like a pacifist world. No, fuck that. I was Batman in, what was that city? Chicago? I was the Batman in Chicago. You committed crimes in my city, I killed you. I was like, I didn't play no games. I was the only one committing crimes in my area of Chicago. But it was, I truly had that Batman personality. Even when I was playing it, I used to always make fun of it when I was recording my Let's Play for it. But I have to see gameplay with part 2. I really do. And so far, I'm liking what I'm hearing as far as like, okay, we learned this from the first one. We learned that from the first one. I'm just hoping they don't get caught up in all of the style bullshit and not have a really great story to flesh out the game. Because that's the one thing I think the game is missing. The game really needs a truly badass story to make people like it. I want to see a Watch Dogs 3. And this game has to come correct, otherwise people just aren't going to feel it, and they may not make a part 3. Because I think the first game, I think it sold just enough off of pretense of what it was going to be, that people bought it, and they hated what they bought, besides me. But I have a feeling that it sold just enough for them to greenlight a sequel, but I really do hope people buy this sequel and don't let the hate from part 1 cloud their judgment and not buy it. To not give it a chance. I want this game to have a chance to succeed, and so they can make a part 3 if need be, and further refine their skills, kind of like how they do with Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the rest of them. So I also hope it don't get caught up in a lot of Ubisoft's bullshit. But since Unity, they seem to be, stepping their game up with every game. They're not 100%. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they are stepping their game up with the releases. So, but anyway, that's just my thoughts on Watch Dogs 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed this commentary. My name is Denonu, the man with black privilege. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.